Okay, so the whole thing is, at some level, what is the legacy of thinking machines and what is the legacy of the connection machine and the ideas of AI and of computers that were extant 30 years ago. How are they today? How have they changed? What are they moving into the future? Thanks, Brewster Kahle, for talking to me about this, as you were probably, after Danny, the most significant scientist working on the machine. Is that true? Or can you talk about your role on the connection machine?
So, yes, I started working with Danny at MIT early on this project when he was a 24-year-old graduate student. And
how old were you?
I was 20. And I wanted to build the Library of Alexandria version 2. I wanted to build the global brain. And Danny had this idea on how to make a machine that would be fantastic. And I said, oh, how hard could that be? Let's spend a couple years and build that machine. Well, it was a lot harder than that, but what a fantastic trip. Danny had this, he wanted to build a machine that would be proud of him, which I thought was really an interesting way of viewing the whole thing. These were the heady days of AI and computers when we could see the future. We knew it was going to happen, and as Carl Feynman, Richard Feynman's son,
who's also in this picture here,
is also
on your left.
Yeah, this is in this picture. I think he was the one that said, you know, if we're going to bring up the next generation, if these machines really are going to take over from us, then let's have them read good books. Let's have it. Let's teach them well. Let's bring up good machines. And so we really thought of it in that kind of heady way, as there was a generation change happening.
A generation change in the machines or in the people? And what year was this?
Species. I mean, we were bringing up the next generation of evolution.
Of Homo sapiens?
Well, Homo sapiens will be about as relevant as zoo animals. So Homo sapiens we get to try to help bring up the next generation of what comes next. I mean, the things that are going to go to the stars, they're likely to be more relating to connection machines than they are going to be relating to human biology.
Can you put a year on this? When were you starting these conversations with Danny and with Carl?
These are sort of 1980, 1981, 1982 at MIT. And then it came time to spin off the connection machine from MIT to go and build it. And Cheryl Handler was this wonderful woman that she completely caught the dream and understood where this whole thing could go, and tried to provide an environment for these, looking back on it, those cocky kids that sort of had this dream. And she said, I could really help make this go. And getting involved with Paley of CBS to go and fund this, really as a 24-year-old Danny's kind of wacko dream. Yes, there's Marvin Minsky, who seemed more establishment, or at least older, but it was still kind of wacko. And let's give this thing a shot. And the pulling together of amazing people. I mean, there was a better faculty at Thinking Machines than there was at MIT that I was exposed to. So Richard Feynman, Stephen Wolf, just to drop names, I mean, Doug Lennon, they were all coming through and trying to help shape what it is this next generation would be. The idea, but also there was this sort of new, but there was also old. So Danny would go back to the thinking of Turing, and was friends, to meet and hang out with Claude Shannon, the inventor of the bit. Right, the concept that there's a 1 and a 0, and these are the new atoms that are going to build the next generation world. This is required going backwards in time to go and find the thinking that made the computers the way they became, because only those people in the very beginning saw the diversity of possibility. And yes, we ended up with one von Neumann-based machine, with one computer central processing unit with external memory, and but there were lots of other possibilities. And as by Danny's reading these old original papers were very inspiring to me. And this concept allowed Danny to see things in a very different way. Of what if we made the memory smart? So the computer wasn't the central processing unit. The computer was the memory, and it wasn't even then just the memory. It was the interconnectedness of it all. Neurons were part of this whole conversation of how do we build machines to really take a major leap forward. The idea of, like, we're not building a multiprocessor with 2 or 4 processors or 8. Let's go with 1,000,000.
So you think that what was unique, or one thing that was unique, was that instead of saying, what do we have now and how can it be better, that you guys actually went back to the origins of computers and said, how were they thinking about it, and how can we take a branch that then was not taken because of the technology that they had, which we can now take. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, absolutely. It was going backwards to be able to go forwards. Mm-hmm. And it was sort of stepping back and taking a much bigger view. And it was thinking big, that we could do these things that, okay, at the end of the day, we didn't achieve a lot of them, but it set a course and an ambition that has directly, indirectly inspired sort of this forward thinking that has become, oh gosh, the internet, Google, cluster computing, sort of the world that's, now in 2016.